Good morning. This is Shelby Law with the Great Basin Prescribed Fire and Smoke Briefing for Wednesday, November 19th, 2025. Prescribed fire activity continues to be in progress or planned across many parts of Utah up into western Wyoming and western Idaho. Not much to speak of in the way of new wildfires. Precipitation for the past 7 days is shown here on the left. This doesn't include precipitation from yesterday, which was quite abundant across the southwest Utah, the Arizona Strip, and into southern Nevada, where we had some precip totals up to near 3/4 of an inch. But a good trend nonetheless, with precip over the past week, especially over the past few days, filling in to some areas of the basin. Percent of normal for the past 14 days shows that above normal area over far western Nevada and into southern Nevada. We would expect to see some higher values in Utah, southern Utah, from the precipitation yesterday, but still some dry spots there over northeast Nevada and western Utah and up into the northern parts of the Great Basin as well. Snow totals for the past 72 hours are shown here on the left. Again, not showing much from what we had yesterday. That just didn't come into these images just yet, but still showing some snow there on the Sierra front, the higher elevations of Utah and up into western Wyoming, and then the current snow depth here shown on the right. Still not very impressive for the middle of November, but good to see some snow still in place, at least over the mountains of Utah, western Wyoming, and into central Idaho. This morning satellite imagery shows that area of low pressure over southern California. That's what's helping to stream some moisture into the southern portions of the Great Basin today, and then we'll see that moving a little bit further northward tomorrow. So again, for today, that low tracking across the southern California and the southern tip of the Great Basin, bringing some precipitation to the southern areas and the eastern areas today. Ventilation rates are not terribly high today, as we do have kind of this temporary little high building in between systems across the west. Transport winds are very light for the most part across the Great Basin today, and mixing heights again are going to be on the lower side, especially over Idaho and Nevada. Some higher values are over parts of Utah. Precipitation for today is expected to be mainly over southern Utah, the Arizona Strip, eastern Utah, and maybe some light showers across the Idaho mountains, with a little bit of a drier pattern over western Nevada. Maximum temperatures today are going to be the mid to upper 50s for the most part. On Thursday, that next trough moves through, bringing a little bit more precipitation back into the western parts of the Great Basin. Ventilation rates are still going to be on the lower end tomorrow. Transport winds still stay pretty light, even with that next trough moving through, and mixing heights are also going to be on the lower end. Precipitation for Thursday shows, again, a return of some precipitation to western and southern Nevada, and then we'll see the precip in Utah maybe moving a little bit further northward. Minimum relative humidities are, of course, no surprise, very high tomorrow, with values in the 60s and 70s as that next little trough moves through. On Friday, that trough is going to be in place once again over southern California, leading to precipitation across much of the southwest, but really kind of a drying pattern over the Great Basin, and ventilation rates still staying pretty low. Generally light winds again on Friday, low mixing heights for the most part, especially over Idaho, a little bit higher over Nevada and southwest Utah and the Arizona Strip. Precipitation really decreases across much of the Great Basin by Friday. We'll see maybe some lingering showers there over far southern Nevada, but southern California and the southwest is still winning on this one. Minimum temperatures are going to be pretty chilly overnight. This is generally the trend that we're seeing this week, with highs or with those lows down into the 20s in some areas and mostly there in the 30s. 3-day precipitation totals are shown here. Again, most of the precipitation is going to be across the southern parts of the Great Basin today into tomorrow, especially across southern Utah, southern Nevada, with just some light showers over Idaho and Wyoming. Utah's forecasted clearing index for the next couple of days shows some favorable values over the higher elevations today and tomorrow, and then really decreasing on Friday. On Saturday, that low continues to track across the southwest, bringing precipitation mainly again to the southwest and maybe a little bit over far southern parts of the Great Basin. Ventilation rates are still staying pretty poor across the north. That generally holds true into Sunday as that low continues to track across the southwest, keeping things on the drier side across the Great Basin with low ventilation rates. More of the same expected on Monday, kind of just generally dry westerly flow. Ventilation rates are going to still be on the lower end as we head into the first part of next week. And that'll continue into Tuesday with low ventilation rates and a dry pattern. This dry pattern looks to stick with us through most of the week next week for Thanksgiving. Not looking like a lot of bad weather for the Great Basin for the Thanksgiving travels anyway. But on the horizon, there may be a storm for next weekend. Again, 7-day totals not showing too much different from the 3-day totals as we do head into a drier pattern starting Friday through the weekend and into much of next week. 7-day snow forecasted snowfall here does show some snow again coming to the higher elevations as the precipitation moves through the next couple of days, but nothing too impressive. The southwest, however, does get some decent snow totals there. Then the extended forecast, November 26th through December 2nd, does look to be another favorable pattern with some troughs moving through the area. So we are hoping to be back into the storm track maybe again next the weekend after Thanksgiving. That concludes today's briefing. Please check back tomorrow, Friday, for the latest update.